Okay. Recording. Hello, Joe. There we go.
I'm sorry, I just pictured that old lady
In
from
The
The
Simpsons?
Simpsons. Yes.
Yeah.
I
Hello, Joe.
I can't hear anybody say hello, Joe, without thinking about that. I really can't. Like my whole life, dude. Ever since I saw that episode, I hear somebody say hello, Joe. Like, hello, Joe.
What is it? Broccoli makes us grow.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I think whenever I see the Mr. Burns alien, I'm always like, good morning, starshine.
Oh, jeez. That was
Oh,
a
that,
moment in time, wasn't
that fucking
it?
sure was, dude. I remember fucking them hyping that goddamn episode.
Yeah. All right, ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh, we're recording.
Yeah. All right. Ready to go in three, two, one. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Movie Know It All podcast here on the Know It All Network. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back better than ever, and some would say that's a good thing. I'd like to think we're one of them. That you're one of them. You know what I mean?
I think
Anyway,
I think so.
we are your hosts. I'm Will.
And I'm Bob. And is that an unlicensed nuclear accelerator?
No, I'm just very happy to see you.
Excellent.
How
And thank you for
you
playing.
doing, buddy? It has been a while since we've been able to do this. A
It,
lot of
it
things have
has been,
happened,
man.
both good and bad. I
Boy, I'll say.
I hope everybody out there and all our listeners and everything had a great holiday, a great end of the year, a great beginning of the year, and if not, let's try to make it better. What do you say?
I'm down.
Bobby
I
boy,
expect,
how have you been, man? How's aside from the obvious, of course.
aside from the obvious, life's been pretty all right as of lately, man. I'm a couple toes short. I used to have 10 toes the last time I did one of these fucking episodes. But yeah, man, I got sick. I got an infection. I lost some toes, and I'm doing all right though, man. Like it feels good to be back, considering that I was pretty sick for a while. But
Yeah, man. It
it's
was such a heartbreak to hear everything that you were going through, man. But also, I'm glad that you know we're doing what we can to help each other through everything that everybody's going through.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
you know,
Like,
I
and it
can't I can't give you any toes. I can't do a lot.
well,
But
no,
what we
Will, you're
can
not
do,
you're not Walter Sobchak, Will. Of course you can't.
but we do what we can to lift each other up, man.
You know, the worst part is they would not let me keep the fucking toes. Like that's the
That
part that hurts the most.
that boggles my mind
Yeah,
because
they
I mean it's yours, right? Like it belongs to you.
yeah, but they're infected, and I guess they think that I'm gonna
What are
like
you gonna
Jason.
do? Put it in a Wendy's chili bowl?
I don't know, dude. I guess they think I'm gonna I think it's more of a fear that I'm gonna just Jason goes to hell it and just eat like my limb or something. I don't know, but like
There
they
was that's so funny because there was this story that I heard. I don't know if it's true. Um, where this guy he had to have a piece of his foot amputated, right?
uh
Or a piece of his calf or something like that. A piece of his leg. He had to have it amputated, right?
yeah.
And he convinced the doctor to let him keep the piece that they amputated.
Oh Lord.
And he brought it home and he cooked it and he ate it.
Well, yeah, that's probably why they won't let me keep my toe. Thanks a lot, guy.
And he said it tasted like fajita, cured meat of some type.
Don't encourage people this close to the apocalypse, Will. Like I'm pretty sure we're doomed soon. Like don't
And
tell
it's
don't tell people we taste like fajita. Don't tell me people taste like fajita, Will. Fajita's expensive enough as it is. There are
listen,
people
man.
outside.
Listen,
Like,
man. We and this is very well common knowledge that one of our closest ancestors or like our closest relatives is actually pigs. Like
yeah.
we're so close to pigs that
Yeah, I've heard this
people, I don't know
before.
if you heard of this, but people like they're actually transplanting pig hearts into people.
Yes, I read about that.
So in my mind, I would think that a human being would taste like pork. You know,
Yeah, well,
really, really fatty pork.
there was a tribe of, I don't know like where they were. I'm not even gonna speculate, but like I had read in a book, but it actually was, but that they have a ritual when someone passes away of natural causes. They eat a piece of them, and they refer to dead people as long pork because we taste like pig. We taste like pork.
That's crazy, man.
That's a freaky thought, isn't it?
That is a freaky thought. Um, and it's so funny that we're able to make those references, you know, because people actually did it. And
Yeah,
like
it's
that
fucked up.
cannibal in Japan
Oh,
who lured one of his classmates, his college classmates, into his apartment, killed her, ate her, spent time in jail, got out of jail, and now like is a famous celebrity who releases his own cookbook every year.
uh,
So that's a
hey,
thing.
well, I know for what. It's the same reason that OJ wrote a book called "If I Did It."
Yeah.
Motherfucker, really?
Like
If I
every
did
time I
it,
hear about that,
okay.
I just think of the Will Smith meme, like, you know, where he's pointing out, you know.
Yeah, like did it? If you did it,
Yeah.
that's like if Vince McMahon wrote a book called "If I Exploited My Wrestlers." Okay,
Yeah, but
you
we still
say
buy it
so.
we still
I
buy it
know,
every
right?
year.
I feel so good not watching Raw yesterday. I just like nah,
Nah.
like just flat out like nah. Like I'm fucking. I watched and then it didn't help that I watched all of Vice's Dark Side of the Ring. They just put it on today, so I just like
Man, that show.
after I haven't seen. Yeah, dude, and like
So
I just
okay, real quick, I just want to get back to we're gonna get back to what we used to do in the old shows, which should be back up pretty soon. We'll be able to bring you those back. But yeah, bro, what did you watch? You watched the
oh
Dark Side of the
man,
Ring, which is a Vice documentary series.
yeah, I watched that on Hulu, and like I saw a few of them because they put a few
What'd you
on.
think of them, man? Like they're pretty they go pretty in depth, man.
Yeah, I like them a lot. It makes me laugh though, because like some of the things that that they do episodes on. And people are just like, "Oh my god, I'm so angry and offended," and it's like, bro, have you ever watched the shoot interview? Like these
Yeah.
stories are pretty fucking readily available. Like I
Like the Bruiser
remember,
Brody incident, the Owen Hart incident,
yes,
the
like
mass transit stuff.
the one that really kind of like, and I don't mean to laugh at it, it's just that it's such an old story to me. Was the plane ride from hell episode.
Oh
And
god, dude.
like
So
just
okay,
Tommy Dreamer defending Ric Flair, like
so I've known. I mean, I'm an old school wrestling fan, so like I've known about the plane ride from hell. But
yeah,
every time I heard the story told, it was done in this like, oh, boys will be boys kind of storytelling,
yeah,
right?
it
But then
really
when I saw
is.
the documentary about it, it's
Yeah,
way
and
worse.
you're like, oh wow, you ruined that poor woman's life. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit. And like it's just it was one of those things where like just watching it too and just hearing Tommy Dreamer like, yeah, but I mean that's just how Rick is. And come on, he wasn't, and I'm like, wow, he's gonna kill his career.
Yeah.
like,
And
like, well,
sure
there
enough,
goes
the
any
day
chance
after
of
it
him
aired,
being
sure enough, the
yeah,
day after it aired, Tommy Dreamer was kicked off of the
Impact.
promotion that he was working for.
Yeah, he was working with Impact, I believe, and they removed him. And I'm like, yeah, I figured that was gonna
That's
happen. That was
about
a
right,
stupid thing to
yeah.
say.
And you know what
Um,
makes it even more sad is the fact that this thing happened 20 years ago, dude.
yeah, dude, it's such an old thing that happened like forever ago, and like I'm like, wow, like you guys are just like getting around to this. Like, holy shit, that happened so long ago. Like, that happened before Brock Lesnar quit the first time.
Yeah.
Like he
Yeah.
was in the plane,
That's
and
so crazy, man.
it's just so weird. And the one that really like really breaks your heart though, at least for me, outside of the Brian Pillman one is the Luna Vachon one. I was like, man, that's so fucking.
I haven't seen that one yet,
Like,
man.
that one's hard, dude. Like that
Yeah.
one's real hard to watch for me because like I was such a big fan of Luna.
She was so awesome, dude. Like
She
she was
really
such
fucking
a
was.
wonderful.
And like just to hear like how dirty like Vince McMahon and the rest of that fucking company did her, like it just sucks. And like hearing her stories, just it's a damn tragic one. It really is. But like
Yeah.
those are really good. I've seen some fucking really amazing movies lately. Like I just told you about Jacob's Wife before we went on the air. I can't recommend that one enough.
Mhm. Okay, so you're breaking up a little bit, man. You're gonna have to say that again. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We're kind of low tech here. We're using sticks and leaves to record this podcast. So
You hear
yeah,
me now?
yeah, I hear you.
Oh, okay. Well, what I was saying was I saw Edgar Wright's last night in Soho.
Oh, that movie was great, dude.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
okay, so I'm not telling any stories out of school here. When I say that my wife is a
Uh-huh.
hardcore, like, she will tell you the ending of a movie 5 minutes in. Okay.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
she's one of those people that like she watches 5 minutes of the movie and she's like, okay, I know how it's gonna end.
Like
She's
I
really
get it.
intuitive that way, right? She
Yeah.
did not call this. She did not call the ending of this movie.
It's so hard to call this one.
I
And
know.
like I'll tell you, man, like I love a good ghost story in
Yeah.
a movie, but there's ghost stories and then there's Kubrick's Shining. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? There's ghost stories and there's Edgar Wright's Last Night in Soho.
Yeah.
Like
Which is one of the best Stephen King stories out there that's not written by Stephen
it's
King.
not written by Stephen King.
Yeah.
Like it was such a like, wow, what a fucked up movie. And
Yeah.
like I didn't see it coming. I didn't see the end coming at all. Like, and when you get to it, it's so satisfying. Like everything
Yeah.
about that movie is just so tragic and like beautiful and satisfying. It's such a good movie.
So I
And
had
like,
already seen Thomas and Mackenzie and Jojo Rabbit, which was my
mm,
favorite movie of 2019.
right
Like
on.
I still like that movie. Still sends chills down my spine. I freaking love that movie,
Hmm.
and it still makes me cry.
Okay.
Uh, and but this movie, dude, like her and Anya Taylor Joy,
Oh my
dude,
God.
I'm like they're gonna win an Oscar one day. I'll just say that they're gonna win a freaking Oscar one
They
day.
should fucking win an Oscar for this one. But like,
Yeah.
I don't believe in the fucking Academy Award.
Well, you know what I mean, dude. It's one of those that you say.
Best horror movie, and until they like publicly apologize for snubbing fucking Tony Collette all these years,
Yeah.
like the Academy owes Tony Collette a lot. Like it's the thing that sucks is they're probably not gonna recognize her movies until after she's dead,
Yeah,
and like I
exactly.
better be dead too because I'm gonna be pissed about it.
Yeah,
Like,
we already got rid of the Golden Globes rightfully, dude. So let's work on the
yeah.
Oscars next. What do you say?
You think I'm angry podcasting now?
So I want to throw my hat in the ring and be like the millionth person to say this, but guys, watch Peacemaker. Watch freaking
Oh my
Peacemaker, dude.
God.
I've never
What
been
a
a fan of
fuck.
John Cena's acting. I think he
So
finally
good.
found the perfect role for himself in this one.
Yeah, dude. He's so good as Peacemaker. He really is. Like, I sat through the first 3 episodes and I'm like,
Yeah,
holy shit, what a fucking great show this is, dude. What a
and that
ridiculous show.
opening, and that opening.
It's like watch James Gunn's The Suicide Squad first,
Yeah,
but like, holy shit, this is so fucking good. Like, it is so funny, man.
and the
Like,
humor is so like it's dark, but it's not like mean. If that makes any sense, you know.
yeah, it's the same thing with I caught up with fucking Cobra Kai once again, blown away and beyond satisfied.
Yeah.
I still maintain, and I mean this when I say this, the Karate Kid does not deserve the lore that it's getting. Like I tell
Yeah.
everybody, I'm like, you do not like a single Karate Kid movie more than you like Cobra Kai, and there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. Like Cobra Kai is infinitely, infinitely better. It made part 3 better.
Right?
Like, who
Like it
gives
made
a
Terry
shit?
Silver the best bad guy
It
in the
really
freaking in
did.
the lore.
I'm sitting there, bro, I'm like,
Hold on, say again, say again, say it again. You're breaking up again. Say it again.
and I was like, bro, if Terry Silver's not in this, what the fuck are we doing? Like, and as soon as I saw him, I'm like, fucking Woody Harrelson and goddamn Zombieland. Like, Terry fucking Silver. Like, I was just hyped. I was like, I don't care, dude. I love this stupid show. Like, it's so good. It doesn't deserve to be anywhere close to this good. And like, I love how they turn like every single one of Miyagi's like little lessons, his little fortune cookie lessons, into
Yeah.
like really amazing tear jerking episodes. Like, holy shit, dude. Like, what
They
a
they give so much respect to Pat Morita. Um
I hate that he's not around for this. I
from
hate that
from
he's
what
not
from what
around.
I hear, he was a very complicated person.
Yeah, I
Uh
imagine. Yeah.
but everybody who worked with him at least had
Hmm.
nothing but like, like they have the best stories and the best things to say
Everybody
about
always
him,
has
right?
such nice things to say about him.
Yeah.
Like,
And like the guy who plays the main kid, what's his name, Miguel
oh
Jolo
yeah.
Mariduena.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's going to be playing Blue Beetle in the
Yeah, yeah, I saw
he
that.
um there's rumors going around that they want Tanner Buchanan to play Nightwing or Robin,
Yeah.
which I kind of like. I'm fine with that, but I think he's too old.
I do
Um,
too. But at the
but the
same time, like it's for I think that's for the CW.
Yeah,
Like, cause from what I understand, they've already gotten which is why there's so many problems with the Flash. Is because the CW is focused really hard right now on doing the Arkham Knight series. And like they're not gonna call it Arkham Knights, I think they're gonna call it Gotham Knights.
yeah,
But
Gotham Knights.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Gotham Knights series. And it's supposed to be like uh, Batgirl and Red Hood, like trying to
Yeah,
find him, and that's
yeah,
what the whole
background
series
red.
is supposed to revolve around.
Uh-huh.
So like I'm intrigued by it, but they are letting Flash like just go by the wayside, and like which
Yeah.
is really unfortunate because I watched about a month ago I finally caught up to Crisis.
Uh
Their Infinite Crisis, and
yeah.
wow, they dropped the ball really bad with that.
So
Like,
I stopped watching the CW shows years ago, but I jumped back in to watch the Crisis because I'm a multiverse fanatic or whatever.
yeah, hell
I
yeah.
was like I couldn't follow any of it, man. I couldn't
It's
follow
it's
any of it.
so
It was such a mess.
it's so poorly done. And the fan service, don't get me wrong, the fan service is fun.
Yeah, in bite
Like,
size, in little bits and pieces. Like it's great.
yeah,
Right? Like it was great to see Robert Wooligan, you know,
yes,
in the
as
central.
Knox.
Right?
That was
Yeah,
very
like
cool. It grabbed my attention right the fuck away.
yeah, and Burt Ward. It was great to see him as well. And
Yeah.
what's his name from Smallville? Uh,
Yeah, yeah, Tom Welling.
Tom Welling.
It was awesome seeing Brandon Routh as the Kingdom Come Superman.
Yeah, which
Like,
was
that
really
was
cool.
Kevin Conroy as Old Man Wayne, like,
Yeah.
was very, very cool. Like, all that shit was cool, but like literally it was the only good part.
It makes no sense in the context of the story. Like
Nothing,
absolutely none.
like none of it made any fucking sense. I'm like, you're doing multiverse. This is not Crisis.
Yeah,
Like, what do you
exactly.
think? You
Yeah.
have to do the Crisis on tours before we go Infinite Earth. Like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
And like,
Um,
just butchered. I didn't like it at all. And like after that, I was like, all right, I'm good with Flash. Like,
yeah.
I just
Yeah.
stopped caring.
Do you have to? Let me ask this: do you have to watch the other CW shows in order to get like Flash? Because I know
Yeah,
that they
that's
do
the
like
unfortunate
crossovers, like
thing.
mini crossovers.
That's the unfortunate thing is that sometimes you really do like think and up and he's like, "Oh yeah, we met earlier." I'm like, "No, you fucking didn't. I've been watching the show." I would have noticed Supergirl.
Dude, they
Like
do
at
that.
some
They
point
do
I would
that
have
with
caught that.
they do that with like Law and Order or Grey's Anatomy, where you have to watch the other shows in order to get what's happening. You know.
Yeah, that's why I stopped kind of like because I would watch Grey's Anatomy with my wife all the time, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, now we gotta watch like
Chicago
this other
Fire or something.
show,"
Yeah.
and I'm like, "What the fuck? Like, I don't want to watch other
Yeah.
people like fucking die. That's all the show is. Just
Yeah. Just people
fucking
dying.
die."
So anyway, man, on that note, what do you say we get into the meat and potatoes of this episode? And
Well, I'll tell
we
you, man. The reason I really wanted to do these episodes is because um Ghostbusters Afterlife was probably my favorite thing that I've seen this last year. All because it appealed to the nostalgia in me in like the best way possible. Like, don't get me wrong, a lot of it is just a nostalgia pop, but
yeah,
it's done in the best fucking way. And like, it just reminded me how much fun Ghostbusters is
yeah,
and how fucking much I hate the fan base for ruining the women's Ghostbusters. Like,
yeah.
come back for that episode. I've got a lot to talk about when it comes to that. But like it's
And we're
such
gonna
a
get into more in depth because we are gonna dedicate an entire episode to Ghostbusters Afterlife.
mm,
But I will
most
preface
definitely.
preface it with this: is that Ghostbusters Afterlife did fan service the way everybody should do fan service, where it acknowledges it, but it doesn't rely on it. You know?
Right.
And that's what's so great about Ghostbusters Afterlife is it acknowledged it, but it didn't rely on it. You know, it gave
Yeah.
enough of the backstory in the story itself.
And like in my opinion anyway, like I feel that Ghostbusters Afterlife is like it feels like more like that's the sequel
Yeah.
to the first Ghostbusters.
Uh-huh.
Like it to me anyway, it feels more sequel than Ghostbusters 2. And I like Ghostbusters 2. Like
Yeah.
I don't care. I know people are little divided on Ghostbusters 2. Let me mince no words at all. I really like Ghostbusters 2. Like I like it the same way I like Batman Forever and Batman Returns.
Yeah.
You know what I
It's a
mean?
nice
Like
it's a nice addition to the story, but you know,
one of these tales is darker than the other.
yeah. So let's get to it, man. Let's start where it all began. Ghostbusters from 1984, directed by Harold Ramis. And it started off. Let's go back to the way beginning, dude, where
Mhm.
Dan Aykroyd had an idea for I guess an interdimensional police force, right?
Mhm.
And keep in mind, this is before Men in Black. This is before R.I.P.D. This is before any of that stuff, right?
All
Where
that stuff
they
except the Green Lantern. Thanks again, DC.
no, Green Lantern is intergalactic, right?
That's
Not
true.
inter
Yeah.
yeah.
Not
But
interdimensional,
yeah,
intergalactic. I gotta get
intergalactic.
shit. I gotta get shit right if I'm gonna be talking
Yeah.
shit. We're a
Don't
know-it-all
want
podcast. Get your shit together, Bob.
it. Don't want any angry letters. So you know what? We'll take any kind of letters. You guys write to us. I
Yeah,
don't
I
care if
was
you're
gonna
pissed
say
off at us.
send all angry letters to me. If it's a really good one, I'll frame it.
Yeah, we'll read it on the air, you know. But yeah, man, and he brought it to Columbia Pictures, and they were interested in it and they wanted to do it, and then he brought it to Harold Ramis, and Harold Ramis was like, look, um or yeah, and he was like, look, dude, this is awesome, but the studio's never going to go for it.
Yeah, we don't have
So
$100 million.
it was going to be a $250 million movie the way he wanted to do it,
And
right?
in like fucking the 80s, dude.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. Like
So
it 250 in 80s money.
in
So
80s money.
like
Yeah.
like
So
let's just spend more money than Burton did on Batman. Oh yeah. Sure.
Burton's Batman was what, 80, $90 million or
90
something like that,
million
like 100,
90
100
million
million.
dollars. It was $90 million or $96 million in like 80s money. So that's an equivalent of like what is
Yeah.
it, 200 million today?
Uh-huh.
Like still an absurd amount of money for a fucking movie.
So, like Harold Ramis, man, God rest his soul, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I had only known Harold Ramis as an actor. In fact, for the longest time, I only knew him as Egon Spengler.
Yeah, same.
Right. I had no idea that he was a writer. He was first and foremost a writer
Mm-hmm.
and a director, right?
Damn good one at that too.
So the fact that they brought him on board as a co-writer and an actor on this movie was a pretty big deal, I guess you could say,
Mm-hmm.
for this movie. And originally they had wanted it was going to be Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, uh, John Belushi,
Mm-hmm.
and Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy was supposed to be the Winston role, and then he turned it down for, I think, Beverly Hills Cop.
48 Hours or
40.
Beverly Hills Cop. One of those movies. One of those movies. Yeah, I think it was. I think it was Beverly Hills Cop. Yeah, which was originally written, I think, for Sylvester Stallone, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was. It was written for Stallone, and I think he turned it down to do another Rocky or a Rambo or one of those.
I think he turned it down, and he ended up reworking because he didn't want it to be because it was originally written as an action movie, and then they reworked it to become more of a comedy. After Sylvester Stallone left, Sylvester Stallone then turned that story into Cobra, and that movie became Cobra, and they turned into a comedy when Eddie Murphy was cast.
Cobra.
So imagine.
Marion Cobrati.
So imagine the movie that we could have gotten, man. Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, John Belushi, and Eddie Murphy as the Ghostbusters, man. What
That
kind
would
of
have
a
been pretty
different
good.
movie that would be, you know?
I think it would have been a fairly legendary film. I don't think it
Mhm.
would have. I'm sure some Earth in the Multiverse has that version,
Yeah.
and I'd love to see it sometime. But like genuinely, I think the version that we got was just so much lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
Like so much lightning in a bottle. Like the casting of Bill Murray was such a fucking interesting and eccentric choice, and he chose to
Mm.
play Venkman in such a different way than what Belushi was gonna do.
Yeah, and I think Belushi at the time he was on his way to he wanted to do more serious roles, you know.
Right.
But he would have he I think he would have played it a little more similar to the way Bill Murray played it, as opposed to the way he played, for example, Bluto in National Lampoon's Animal House, right? But the fact that Bill Murray brought his own, like he was basically playing himself, Bill Murray in
Yeah.
this movie, you know,
Yeah.
like nobody else could have been Bankman the way Bill Murray did it, you know.
Exactly. Brings such a charm to Venkman.
Yeah.
Like there's such a different person when he plays Peter Venkman than anybody else could have
and
done. Like I
it's
don't think
funny
anybody could
because
have done it.
he's like, nowadays I guess you could say that he was like some kind of creeper kind of person, right? Because
Yeah.
let's get into the movie now. Like we open up with, we're introduced to Peter Venkman, where he's doing this quote unquote experiment with these two college kids, uh, and he's electroshocking the guy while he's giving the girl a pass. Like
It's
he's
a
there as an
couple of wavy
employee.
lines. Just
and
shocking students.
and that is like the first thing that I remember when I look back at the first time watching this movie. I remember going to Top Video, renting this movie because they made a movie based on the Ghostbusters cartoon, right?
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I was such a huge fan of the cartoon, and then well, no, I think I saw the movie first. I did see the
Mhm.
movie first, actually. Like I saw
Yeah.
the movie when I was really young, dude. Like
Yeah.
God, my parents just let me watch whatever. Thanks, Mom.
And yes or no, man. The opening, like the first 5 minutes are like legitimately terrifying,
They're
man.
legitimately really scary. Like, I'll give it to like really all of the Ghostbuster movies. They all start off pretty creepy. They do a really good, even in the women's one, they do a really good job of like making the opening scene
Yeah.
a fairly creepy one.
Yeah.
And like, but like, honest to God, though, nothing beats the first one. The Haunted Library is just so fucking cool. Like, you can't look at Ghostbusters.
And the very creepy, man. And like the thing that scared me the most was that it reminded me so much of the old McAllen library, like the library that we used to have here in McAllen. Yes or
Yeah,
no?
yeah,
Like it was
hell
built
yeah.
exactly the same way, like that. Like it was
Yeah,
set up that way.
I think all libraries were just built that way at one point.
Yeah.
But like it's such a freaky looking library. Like everything about it is just so like and it's not even a freaky looking library, it's just the way they shoot it. The music that they choose, like
Yeah.
just that old, like ooh, like just weird 50s horror movie like
Yeah, like
music.
the 50s sci-fi what's that a musical instrument where you move it up and down?
I have no
The wave,
just a,
the electronic wave
it's
music.
just a creepy ass noise that they
Yeah.
do. And like I fucking love it. It's still like, in my opinion, it's still the perfect horror movie to
Yeah.
show your kids. Like,
Credit to Elmer Bernstein, man. Freaking legendary musical composer, man,
absolutely.
who had over 186 credits to his name before he passed away in 2004. Like he had so many musical credits. Like he did it for like Mad Dog and Glory, River Runs Through It. The remember that movie Journey of Natty Gann
Why the fuck do I know that name?
with John Cusack and um oh shoot with that actress who's married to Patton Oswalt now. Um,
Shit, I don't know.
Meredith Salinger. Meredith
I
Salinger.
I feel like I feel like I have seen that.
Yeah.
Like, but I can't like remember
And
it.
Ray Wise played her dad.
Ray Wise. God, I
Yeah.
love Ray Wise and everything. Like
So
I just enjoy him playing an angry dad in anything.
yeah. Man, he was it's funny because he basically plays the same character in everything that he does, from that role to Swamp Thing to he even played Robin's dad in How I Met Your Mother. Same
That's
character.
right. That's right. Yeah. Like I just love seeing Ray Wise as an angry dad in fucking everything he does. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean you can't find my daughter, you idiot? Like
Oh yeah, the ghetto or the chase.
the chase. Yeah, dude. You remember
Yeah.
that fucking movie?
Yeah.
I don't know why the joke that always made me laugh in that movie, and I don't know why, just because his name sounds so made up, was the scene where he's like, Lou, like he's yelling at his deputy and he's like, take the Vosses here and Mr. And it's like her boy toy and he's just standing there smiling and he goes, McInerney. McInerney. Like, I don't know why that always made me laugh. Like McInerney, dude. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna start telling people that's my name on fucking when I get those automated phone calls and shit. Thinking, what was your name, sir? Like John McInerney. I
No, like
usually tell them,
whenever somebody calls me, he's like, are you Guillermo Martinez?" Like, negative. I am a meat popsicle.
I usually tell them my name's Osgood McGillicuddy.
That's good.
Just because
Yeah, my parents really hated me.
it's always really funny to have them go, can you spell that? I'm like, I can, but it's gonna take a while. Like,
Yeah.
are you busy?
It's like I could tell you my real name, but to say it in your language would break your neck.
Oh, I'm gonna start saying that. But to say it in your language would burst your eyeballs.
Yeah. But anyway, man, yeah, dude. So we open up in the in the library, and Oh man, like everything you need to know about this movie happens in the first 10 minutes, right?
Yeah,
Like
like it really does.
you're introduced to the stakes, right, with the ghost. You're introduced to Peter Venkman. You're introduced
To Ray
to
and
Dan
Egon.
Aykroyd, to Ray and freaking Egon, dude. One of the funniest introductions ever is when they're walking through the library, and he goes, "Remember when you tried to drill a hole in your head?" And then he goes, "That would have worked if you hadn't
It worked
stopped
if you
me."
hadn't stopped me. What if I like ever since I saw that, I've always like maybe we should pause. I want to know more about that. Like,
Right. I want a prequel, and I want the prequel to explain that line of dialogue.
no,
Like that's
no
that's
shit.
like the comedy version of what happened in Cleveland. What happened in Cleveland?
Yeah, yeah, right. The like, I think I need to know like the story of why Egon tried to drill a hole in his head.
Yeah.
Like,
So like
I like how he
these.
does that part too. Where he just knocks on the table.
Ooh, yeah. Oh
Oh,
man,
good
and
here.
and like these guys just walk so nonchalantly through the library, and they see the ghost, and they're like, "Oh look, it's a ghost." Like kind of like somebody would say, "Oh look, there's a taquache there," right?
Yeah, dude, like so calm about this entire situation. Like, but like it really does feel like they've been doing this for a very long time.
Hmm.
And like they know that they're real.
Yeah,
And like it's just one of those things where it's like fucking finally like one with a corporeal form.
yeah,
Like this one is like it's humanoid.
yeah.
Like it's interacting with us.
What
Like
is it? A free floating
a free flow
torso?
a class 5 free roaming vapor.
Yeah.
Real nasty one too.
But
But like
what this movie does, and what I think is missing in all the other ones, including Afterlife,
mhm,
is the fact that they like it's so normal in this world, in this
yeah.
world that the Ghostbusters is creating. The ghosts they're just part of life, right? And like
Yeah.
nobody has been able to tackle this problem of ghosts, and these guys, they finally figure it out, and they find a way to monetize it, you
Mhm.
know. and
Yeah.
and that's what I think is missing from from all the other Ghostbuster movies, is that this is a business to them. Like this is they're not doing anything groundbreaking here.
They're not
They're
doing anything
providing a
for
service.
yeah, like this isn't for religious purposes. Like it's a
Yeah,
job.
yeah,
Like you're being
exactly.
haunted, we'll get rid of it. It's like an
Yeah,
exterminating service.
we're ready to believe you. Complete with that cheesy commercial that they do.
Nah, we're exterminators. Somebody saw a cockroach on the 5th floor. That's got to be
Must
some
be some
cockroach.
cockroach. Bite your head off,
Bite your
man.
head off, man.
What are you supposed to be? Some kind of cosmonaut?
Nah, we're exterminators. Like, I
Oh
fucking
man.
love that, dude.
And
Like,
when they do finally, like, when you do get into, like, after they get the proton packs, and they show up in their full, gear and stuff, they explain the danger of the proton packs so perfectly. Is when he goes,
mhm.
it just occurred to me, we've never had a fully successful test of these things. He goes, I blame myself. Yeah, me too. you
Yeah, me
know
too.
He
Fucking
goes, well, why
asshole.
not? Well, why not? Each one of us is wearing an unlicensed nuclear accelerator on his back. Like, that's everything you need to know about it. Like, you don't need to show how dangerous it is. You don't need to, like,
They
everything you need to know is said in that elevator.
the thing that's so good, the way they really, really show you is that like, well, no time to worry about it now. Switch me
Switch
on.
me on. Yeah.
Just
Egon
Egon just like God,
backing
like
up.
just backs into the corner like it's gonna save him if that thing explodes. Like I love that, dude. Like
Yeah.
and it is. They really just tell you really very quickly how dangerous these fucking things are.
Yeah.
And then they show you really right away when they blast the poor like cleaning lady and they
Yeah.
light her whole thing on fire. What the hell are you doing?
He's like, sorry, we thought you were someone else.
Like, who the fuck did you think that was that you were gonna shoot him with that fucking thing? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like that
And
shit's
with that, we're introduced to, I guess you can say it's the mascot of the franchise in
Mm-hmm.
Slimer,
Yep.
which back then he was just a regular ghost, like he wasn't
Yeah,
supposed to
he didn't have a
be.
name.
Yeah, well, he had a name that wasn't said in the movie, but
Oh,
excuse me,
Onion
but
Head.
on set, yeah, but on set they called him Onionhead, and the crew had canonically stated, or non-canonically, I should say, stated that he was supposed to be the ghost of John Belushi, or at
But it's
least John
supposed.
Belushi's character from Animal House.
Yeah, I was like, but it's supposed to be him from Animal House.
Yeah, and that's that.
Oh
You know what?
God.
And that's kind of that's both funny and sweet at the same time,
Oh,
because like
absolutely.
he had just passed away a year before they started filming this movie, and
Yeah, yeah.
that was a nice little tribute that they gave to him. But yeah, man, he wasn't supposed to be anything, and when they started doing the cartoon show and the toys, like they really focused on Slimer, which is
Yeah,
it's
they
such
had
a
to give him a
shame
name.
because which is such a shame because he's, let's face it, he's the Boba Fett. He had the Boba Fett effect where he shows up and he becomes like the face of the franchise,
This
for like a split
icon
second.
of the franchise when he was really just like there for a minute.
Yeah,
Like
like he wasn't even supposed to be anything. He was just.
there are
But
whole ass shows dedicated to the guy who got knocked into the Sarlacc pit by a blind dude.
yeah,
Like
yeah, like the most pathetic death scene ever, and he became like this icon,
Boba
which by
Fett,
the way
where? Ah!
is quickly becoming my favorite thing on Disney Plus right now, the Book of Boba Fett.
I
I'm
have
just
not watched
saying,
that yet.
I'm just
Like
saying, dude.
I'm waiting
You-
for it to finish. It's the same reason I haven't watched season 2 of Euphoria because we're only 2 episodes in, and I was like, oh fuck, I forgot this is
uh,
an actual TV show.
yeah. Oh God, dude, don't even get me started on Euphoria, dude.
I
Like, don't
don't.
even get me started on
The
Euphoria,
first
dude.
season is so amazing, but
It's so ugly, dude. It's so ugly.
I know with
But
a
anyway,
week.
and I mean that in the best possible way. I'm
Stress.
not downing it. I'm not downing it at all.
No,
Like
no. I'm gonna watch the second the last episode hits. I'm gonna watch the whole. I'm gonna binge the whole thing. I
yeah,
cannot, for the sake of my own like just fucking sanity, wait a week to watch that show. Like
yeah,
it'll make me sick. Like
yeah.
I can't wait 7 days to find out what happens next. I'd rather just
It's
like I'll wait it out.
yeah. Wait it out. So yeah, man. Speaking of Slimer, dude, I want to talk about the special effects in this movie real quick.
God, they're
Um,
so great.
because uh, we've been spoiled with computer generated images and special effects nowadays. Slimer was a practical effect, a real puppet that was actually built, and they used old school in-camera filming techniques to make that happen,
Yeah.
and it still holds up
It's
so
amazing that it
well.
still holds up so well. Like it
Yeah.
I watched I have a high def TV and I watched it
Uh-huh.
in like Blu-ray high def and like some things look better than others.
Yeah.
Um and
Like
like some
the rotoscoping looks really bad on a 4K TV, right?
yeah.
But Slimer, dude, like it looks so good.
And like he still does look good. Like some of the ghosts look better than others. Um like I don't want to point any fingers at the Marshmallow Man, but you can kind of see through his suit in 4K.
Especially in 4K, yeah,
Like you
dude.
could see the light coming from the other side of his ass, and I'm like, I can see a whole ass person in that fat suit.
Yeah.
Like y'all were really
Oh
concerned about
man.
letting that thing breathe, but like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's fine. But
It
you know,
was I don't know who it was in that suit, but all credit to him, man, wearing that 100-pound suit under all those lights, you know?
yeah, like I'm willing. There's certain movies where I'll let go of stuff. Like I will every just
Well,
some movies.
say that one more time. Say that one more time.
Oh no, I was saying that like I'll forgive bad things in really good movies. You know what I mean? Like I'll
Yeah.
forgive everything in Evil Dead 2. There's so many mistakes in Evil Dead
Yeah.
2, most of which Bruce Campbell points out himself on the commentary.
Yeah.
But like it's so funny to watch and hear them make fun of it. But it's like there's a real labor of love that goes into certain movies.
Yep.
And like Ghostbusters was one of those movies you could tell that like they worked extra hard to make it as good as it was. Like they had something to prove with Ghostbusters, I felt.
I think
Like,
so. I think so, and it really showed in the fact that um, they had nothing to work with, dude. They honestly had nothing
yeah.
to work with, and they relied like the charm of the actors, the charm of the special effects, the charm of the storytelling. It really comes through.
Yeah, big time.
So so yeah, man, the special effects really hold up, and like the side characters, man, like the story, the way the story goes is that they start doing their thing and they become big time celebrities, right?
Yeah.
And then we're introduced to Dana Barrett, played by Sigourney Weaver, and her neighbor Louis Tully, played by Rick Moranis.
The legendary Rick Moranis.
Which, by the way, I want to say that like 90% of his dialogue was ad libbed.
Yeah, you can.
Rick Moranis is the king of ad libbing. You know,
does
nobody
does
can touch him.
does his shit does I mean
Once again,
I do this.
okay, you're breaking up one more time. Do you say it one
Oh,
more time?
sorry. Can you hear me now? I think I
Yeah.
was on top of the wire. Yeah. Okay. I think I know what the problem is. Like I cannot touch the wire at all on this thing.
Okay.
No. But what I was saying was does his dialogue, at least to me anyway, does his dialogue not get funnier the older you get?
I know.
Like he
Like,
just gets so much funnier, dude.
there's a
Like
scene where he's throwing a party and like he just goes on this rant
just
about
introducing
how he
people.
invited clients instead of friends.
Yeah. Dude, I remember watching that the other day,
Uh
and there's this scene where he goes, and I know you do your own taxes, which you really shouldn't do. My brain immediately went, oh God, you really shouldn't. Like, oh my God, that's funny to me now. As an
That's good
adult.
advice.
It's really good advice. No, it is, dude. Like, doing your own taxes is how you end up in jail. Like, just let somebody else do it. Like, they go
uh,
after them when the shit hits the fan.
so
Like, it,
so like explain this to me, or kind of explain it to me. Was was he trying to get with her?
man, the older I get, the less I feel that.
Right? Like he
Like,
doesn't
I
come
think,
across as creepy. He just comes across as extremely friendly.
yeah, he strikes me more as the type of dude who just desperately wants her to be his friend.
Yeah.
Like that he doesn't have any friends and he wants to say that at least he's cordial with his neighbor. Like it almost feels like he's doing it just so he seems more human. Like it's very Zuckerberg if you really think about it.
You think so?
Like cuz I used to think he had a crush on her, but I'm like,
Yeah.
if you go back and you really watch this movie, he never says or does anything do like
He never says or does anything. What?
never says anything to indicate that he's trying to be anything except a good neighbor to her.
Yeah.
Like he really doesn't. He never hits on her. He never like says anything remotely like perverted or sexual.
Yeah.
Like there's no overtone to that. It's just for some reason you just assume that when you're younger.
Yeah.
Like as an adult, I'm like, I don't if that's what he was aiming for, he missed that mark. Like but
Yeah,
I
like
don't think he was aiming for
he's
that at all.
like he's so socially awkward that I honestly think, and this is the way I looked at it. Like it's like him just trying to like get close to her, not in a weird creepy way, but like as he was trying to help her or something.
Yeah. Like like all he ever seemed like he was trying to be helpful. Like even
Yeah.
when he said like, "Oh yeah, you know what I did? I turned my TV up way loud so everybody would think there was something wrong with both our TVs." Like
Yeah.
he was really just trying to be a very helpful
Yeah.
neighbor.
And then
And
like
like
when she shuts him down and she closes the door in his face, he's like, "Okay, I'll call you later. I'm gonna go have a shower." Like, he just like it's just like
yeah,
it
like
does he doesn't linger.
he could have been really weird and like touched the door or something to
Yeah.
indicate that he was like, hey, he had feelings for her.
Yeah.
And like nothing. There's no indication at all. Even when you go into part two, like he's all over Janine in that one.
Well,
Like,
she's all over him,
well,
to
she's
be
all over
fair.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even pick up on it. Like she literally has to jump on him in order for him to get it.
And like I don't know, man. Like if it turned out Lewis was a serial killer, it almost seems like he was just nice to Dana just so that she'd be on TV going, he was such a nice man. Like I don't
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's really weird. And like I said, like the older you get, like the funnier that movie becomes. Like
Yeah.
especially if you've worked
Okay, so say again, especially if you worked what?
the joke that Ray says, like you've never worked in the private sector. They expect
Yeah.
results.
They expect
Like,
results.
like that's true. You're like once you've actually had like these shitty 9 to 5 jobs where you work and you're not appreciated, this movie's very blue collar at its roots.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I pick up after multiple watching, right? Because yeah, dude, like these guys are just blue collar workers who are and there's a fantastic scene where Winston Zeddemore is introduced and he's interviewing for the job, right? And then
Mhm.
Peter and Ray come in and he's like, oh man, I like this. It's been such a heavy day. He's like, you look bad. He's like, what? You didn't used to look like this. Yeah, yeah, you used to look worse or something like that.
Yeah.
And
You
then
look
she
bad.
goes,
Really? Oh, you looked worse, but
yeah, and then she goes like, this is Winston Zeddemore. He's here for the job, and like without any hesitation, like, beautiful, you're hired. Get over here and help me.
yeah. Yeah, like beautiful, you're hired.
It's like,
Welcome
dude,
aboard.
it's like, dude, I have been there, dude, because like I've hired people at jobs that I've worked at, right? Like I've done
Yeah,
that,
same.
dude. And like
You just need people.
you need people, dude.
That's why like I don't buy this work shortage shit. And I'm like, horse shit.
Yeah,
Like, well, I've hired people before. Like, that's a lie. If there
yeah,
ever was a lie. Like, I've hired people under the tutelage of somebody over me, and they've
uh,
told me the same thing. Like, just for fuck's sakes, hire 6 people today. Like, you got it,
yeah,
boss. Like, if six
yeah,
people come through the door, if only 6 people come through the door, congratulate all 6 of them. They got jobs. Like, you got it,
yeah,
boss.
yeah,
Like, I've been there. That's why I'm like, horse shit. Work shortage, my ass. There's nobody wants to work for your bullshit pay anymore. But like, and I think that's what was so good about Ghostbusters is that the reason we attach ourselves so much to it when we were kids, I think it's because they always felt like they could be our dads or our uncles.
yeah. Like we know these guys, like we
Yeah,
we
like
know we know like they weren't superheroes. They weren't
right,
superheroes. They weren't like these superhuman guys that anybody could do this job if they
right,
wanted to, right? Which is
right.
shown by the fact that Winston Zeddemore comes in and basically is one of the best members of the team, right? Like right off
Yeah,
the street. Which is funny because like after the movie came out and they started doing the comics and everything, they gave Winston Zeddemore a fully like fleshed out backstory
yeah,
where at the time when he joined the Ghostbusters, he was just out of the Air Force. He had gone to college. He got his master's and I don't know what. And like
yeah.
he was the kind of guy that was like he didn't want to be stuck in an office all day. Like
Right.
he could basically go out and get any corporate job he wanted, but
Mhm.
he wanted to be out on the streets, doing something. But he didn't want to be a cop.
Which is such a damn shame that they didn't like play up more of that because they were supposed to when the role was going to go to Eddie Murphy.
Yeah,
And
like
when
Eddie
Eddie
Murphy
Murphy
was
left,
the
they cut the role in half.
Winston Zeddemore was supposed to be there from the beginning. He was supposed
Yeah.
to be another scientist or at
Yeah.
least another graduate student.
And that's what I really liked about the video game. The video game was what made it canonical that he's Dr. Winston Zeddemore now.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
he got his doctorate in something. And
Yeah.
I've always liked that. And even in Ghostbusters Afterlife, they refer to him as Dr. Zeddemore.
Dr. Zedmore, yep.
And I'm like,
which
I love that. Like
yeah,
I
which is
love
so
that.
great, dude. Like that's exactly the way they had set it up in the previous canon.
Hmm.
That's exactly what he would be, right? Like
Yeah.
he'd be a doctor, you know, and
Yeah.
he'd have more accolades than any of the other guys, you know.
Yeah, no shit.
Who would have thought, right? Like some guy off the street is more qualified for Ghostbusters than the Ghostbusters themselves, you know.
No shit. And
But
like I've always dug like all the characters, like all and like they really flush some of them out and some of them they don't. But
mhm.
like it's just, and that's the thing that's so good about that movie. If you go back and you watch Ghostbusters, it's such an ensemble. Like
Yeah,
everybody, all the way down to my personal hero and yours. Well,
I like how your mic cut off just as you're about to say the name.
my personal hero and yours, Walter Peck, bro.
Yeah.
Like Walter Peck's my fucking hero, dude. Like,
So and real quick, man, like to talk about Sigourney Weaver again, she was probably the second or third biggest star at the time because she had just come off of Aliens, by the way. Like she
yeah,
had already done
absolutely.
Aliens. So I think no Alien. The first Alien had came out in what
No, she
1970. The first Alien
79.
movie, 79,
Yeah, the
right?
first one came out in 79.
And
And
Aliens came out in 86, I think, right?
did it? I feel like
Yeah.
Aliens came out before, like right before Ghostbusters. No, you're right.
No,
It was
no. Yeah,
no,
86.
it
I
was
think it was
this
86.
was after Ghostbusters. Yeah,
Yeah.
You're right.
So
You're
she
right.
was a
You're right.
big time. She was a big time star by the time. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Like by
but
that point, people knew who she was.
I want to talk about what we're gonna do right now, man. Is we're gonna take a real quick break, and when we come back, I want to talk about one of the both most underrated characters and one of the most legitimately hated characters in all of moviedom, which is Dickless Robert Peck. All right, so let's go ahead and take a real quick break, and we'll be right back here on the Movie Know It All podcast here on the Know It All Network, and we'll be right back. Bye bye.